You are the one who can handle anything. Strong, self-reliant, and never a burden. You might even see it as your superpower. But what if I told you this intense drive for independence is not really a strength, but a sophisticated defense mechanism? A trauma response that you built in childhood to protect yourself, but is now trapping you in a cycle of loneliness and burnout. In this video, we are going to uncover why it feels impossible to ask for help and how to finally break free. This is not just about being a little self-sufficient. This is a pattern so deep it can feel like a core part of who you are. It is that gut feeling that you are fundamentally alone in this world, and that relying on anyone else is a one-way ticket to disappointment or danger. This is hyper-independence, and it is a silent struggle for so many high-achieving, capable people. You might be the person everyone else turns to, the reliable friend, the overperforming colleague. But when the weight gets too heavy, the silence is deafening. You do not reach out, you just push harder. Today, we will explore the psychological fortress of hyper-independence, trace its origins, understand the heavy price it takes, and, most importantly, find the key to finally opening the gate and letting connection in. At its core, hyper-independence is an extreme, almost compulsive avoidance of relying on others. It is more than just enjoying your own company or being capable. It is an ingrained belief that you must do everything on your own, even when you are overwhelmed or in desperate need of support. Think of it like a fortress you have built around yourself. The walls are high, built from bricks of self-sufficiency and mortared with a deep-seated mistrust of others. This fortress is meant to keep you safe from potential threats like betrayal, rejection, or disappointment. But it also keeps out warmth, connection, and support. So, what does this look like day to day? The signs are often praised by our society, which can make them tricky to spot as a problem. A hyper-independent person often takes on way more than they can handle because they find it almost impossible to delegate. There is a constant thought that if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. They often come across as mysterious or private, since sharing personal details feels like handing someone a weapon to use against them later. In relationships, letting their guard down is a huge struggle. Vulnerability is seen as a profound weakness, something to be avoided at all costs. This can make it incredibly difficult to build deep, intimate connections. They might feel awkward or even irritated when someone offers to help. The thought of being a burden is so terrifying that they would rather suffer in silence than ever say the words, "I need you." This is not a choice made from confidence, but from a place of deep-seated fear. It is a survival strategy that has become a prison. And like any prison, it is incredibly lonely. This fortress does not just appear out of nowhere. Hyper-independence is not a personality trait you are born with. It is armor forged in the fire of past experiences. Often, it is a trauma response rooted in childhood, where a child learns over and over that their needs will not be met by the people supposed to care for them. This can come from overt abuse or neglect, but frequently, it stems from a more subtle, insidious trauma: childhood emotional neglect. This is when parents are physically present, but emotionally unavailable. A child who cries and is not comforted, who is excited and is not seen, or who is scared and is not reassured, learns a devastating lesson. My emotions are a burden, and my needs do not matter. To survive, the child adapts. They stop asking. They learn to soothe themselves and rely only on themselves because experience has taught them that no one is coming to help. Their nervous system gets rewired to see dependence as dangerous and self-reliance as survival. While this is a common pathway, it is not the only one. Sometimes, hyper-independence can be shaped by cultural values that glorify extreme self-reliance, or by watching caregivers who model this same behavior. However, for many, this early learning can contribute to what psychologists call an avoidant attachment style. The child may grow into an adult who unconsciously pushes intimacy away and mistrusts that others will truly be there for them. They might have had to grow up too fast, taking on adult roles like caring for a sibling or mediating parental fights. They were praised for being the easy child, the one who never needed anything. That praise reinforced the belief that their value comes from their self-sufficiency. The armor gets thicker, the fortress walls get higher, and the pattern becomes deeply ingrained. Asking for help does not just feel uncomfortable. It feels life-threatening to the part of the brain that learned long ago that vulnerability leads to pain. If any of this is resonating with you, if you feel like I'm telling your story, take a second to hit the like button. It really helps this video reach more people who might be feeling trapped inside their own fortress, and it lets me know this content is helpful. While hyper-independence may have been a brilliant survival tool in childhood, in adulthood, it often becomes a form of self-sabotage. The armor that once protected you now just weighs you down, taking a heavy toll on your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. The most immediate cost is chronic stress and burnout. When you are the only person responsible for everything, your nervous system is in a constant state of high alert. You are overcommitted, overworked, and exhausted, but the inability to ask for help means you can never really rest. This relentless pressure can lead to anxiety, depression, and a whole host of physical health problems. But maybe the most painful cost is the profound loneliness and isolation. You can be surrounded by people, friends, family, a partner, and still feel completely and utterly alone. True connection is built on mutual vulnerability, and that is the one thing your fortress is designed to prevent. Relationships stay on the surface because you cannot let anyone see the real you. The you that struggles, the you that is tired, the you that needs support. You might even start to resent other people for their perceived neediness because it triggers your own needs that you have pushed down for so long. Professionally, it can kill your growth. You miss out on mentorship and collaboration because you cannot admit you do not know something. You might turn down opportunities that would require you to rely on a team. Personally, it robs you of the joy and resilience that come from shared experiences. Humans are biologically wired for connection. Our nervous systems are designed to co-regulate with others. By denying yourself this fundamental need, you are living in a state of constant emotional deprivation. The crown of self-reliance is incredibly heavy, and wearing it comes at the cost of genuine happiness and connection. Breaking free from hyper-independence is not about becoming weak or needy. The goal is not to trade your fortress for a state of helplessness. The real path to healing is moving towards interdependence. Interdependence is that beautiful, healthy middle ground where you are still self-reliant and capable. But you also get that we can do more and be more resilient when we work together. It is understanding that asking for help is a sign of strength, trust, and humanity, not failure. So, how do you start to lower the drawbridge? The process is gentle, and it starts with small, intentional steps. First, build self-awareness. You cannot change a pattern you do not see. Start by just noticing your hyper-independent behaviors without judging them. When you automatically say, "I have got it," when someone offers to help, just clock it. Journaling can be a huge help here. Ask yourself, what am I afraid will happen if I say yes? What old story is this connected to? Second, practice gradual vulnerability. The thought of being vulnerable can be terrifying, so start small and in low-stakes situations. Ask a colleague for their opinion on a minor task. Tell a trusted friend you are feeling a bit stressed. When someone gives you a compliment, just say thank you without downplaying it. Each small act of receiving helps retrain your nervous system, teaching it that connection is not a threat. Third, check in with your emotions. A huge part of hyper-independence is shutting down your own needs. Start doing emotional check-ins. A few times a day, just pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Use mindfulness to just sit with the discomfort of needing something, even for a few seconds. This builds your tolerance for the vulnerability that connection requires. Fourth, start to reparent your inner child. So much of this pattern is driven by a younger part of you that felt abandoned. Healing means giving that inner child the reassurance it never got. This can be as simple as telling yourself, it is okay to need help. I am here for you. For deeper healing, trauma-informed therapies like CBT, EMDR, or internal family systems can be incredibly effective at rewriting these old, painful scripts. Finally, build your support system on purpose. You do not have to suddenly trust everyone. Focus on 1 or 2 people in your life who have shown themselves to be safe and reliable. Practice sharing just a little more with them. Let them in, 1 brick at a time. The goal is to slowly dismantle the fortress, not demolish it overnight. The journey from hyper-independence to interdependence is really a journey back to your most authentic self. It is admitting that the armor you built to survive, while once necessary, is now keeping you from truly living. It is not your fault that you learned to rely only on yourself. It was a brilliant adaptation to a world that felt unsafe. But your world has changed. You are no longer that helpless child. Healing is about recognizing that your worth is not tied to your ability to do everything alone. True strength is not found in isolation. It is found in the courage to connect. It is in the ability to both give and receive support, to stand strong on your own 2 feet, and to know that it is safe to lean when you need to. The path is not always easy, but it leads to a life with richer relationships, deeper fulfillment, and the profound relief of finally putting down the heavy weight you were never meant to carry alone. I would love to hear your story. Has hyper-independence been a theme in your life? What is one small step you could take this week to practice asking for or receiving support? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to read to feel a little less alone. And if you found this video helpful, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss our next one. Remember, the journey to healing is 1 step at a time, and you do not have to do it